They're going to lose someone good, and they're going to replace him with someone good because they're the Boston Bruins, and that's what they do.
Taylor Hall looks like he wants to come back. But I wonder if they're going to get him at a low enough number where they can fit that in. Because that seems like a great fit. Second line Taylor Hall, like he was excelling during those 2 rounds of playoffs and the end of the regular season there.
Well, and with Krejci's contract off the books, I could see a world. Why wouldn't Taylor Hall stay there?
Right.
And if he signs long term, let's say you get Taylor Hall 8/8. Are you upset?
Ooh, that's a little much.
It's a lot.
I wouldn't
That's
like
what
that.
it's going to, guys, that's what it's going to take.
Then no.
He's going to sign for, well, or maybe you say, we'll give you the 8th year, but you got to sign for 6. Because he's going to get 8 somewhere else.
Oh, boy. He's 29.
He's going to get 7 years if he goes elsewhere. If he wants that 8th year and maybe more money overall, and maybe Boston's willing to do the we'll pay you a bunch of money up front thing.
Right. That's a lot of years.
But you know that's what he's going to get.
Yeah, but not by
changed. Me. No, like what players can expect has changed.
Well, who's a better UFA free agent on forward? I grant you that Dougie Hamilton is the belle of the ball this year. Except for NHL by Maddie, who thinks he's one-dimensional, but we can avoid that.
NHL by Maddie. Didn't he make the New York Times? Didn't we see that
he?
the other day? Yeah. I think he got a
For
byline
what?
in the New York Times.
Really?
Anyways,
Wrote something?
I'm gonna look. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up just to make sure. But go ahead. Keep talking.
Really? Okay.
No,
anyway,
no, I don't. So
Petro,
really?
Petro signed for 8.8. Right.
Yep.
And we were really entering this era where the top guy was going to make double digits almost every year.
Mm-hmm.
And, you saw a lot of RFAs take these short team-friendly deals in part because of the Panini, or at least fortunately for those teams. But as a UFA who can go anywhere he wants, Pietrangelo didn't have that restriction.
Interesting.
So he signed for less, though.
Yeah, but
signed for less. I said
interesting for a different reason, but I'll get back to it.
No, like I just don't think those big contracts are going to be available to guys unless they are super duper stars, and he's just not. They're not going to be available unless you're a super duper star for at least 2 or 3 years.
Okay, so
can I just clarify?
Yeah, please.
It was Ken Campbell, not
Ken Campbell.
Ken Campbell.
Very different.
Hey, both writer friends of the show that we've brought up on occasion.
Yeah, Ken's a lot different than NHL by Maddie. Ken, we're convinced is that's the real Ken. We're not sure that's NHL by Maddie. We still don't know it's him. But I do want to say that, Steve, I think the reason I said interesting is that today, Elliot Friedman was on the radio in Vancouver and did say that the Pettersson deal is going to get done, but it is going to be 3 years. And the Quinn Hughes deal, Quinn Hughes' people want it to be longer. And it looks like Vancouver wants him on a 3-year deal as well, probably because it's less money and it's the only way they're going to be able to afford everybody. But I also think for Pettersson, it's like, I mean, yeah, sure, I'll take the bridge. I know I'm fantastic. And I know that I'm not going to get the 10 or 11 I'm worth until 3 years from now.
This is why you got to take the short deal.
But
I don't understand.
Taylor Hall's not going to take the short deal.
Right.
Taylor Hall needs 6 to 7 years.
This should be his last contract.
That happily ever after bullshit. I just don't think it works. And you know what? How about this? What's the number one thing he needs on his resume? Winning of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
You want to win? Yeah, that lucrative long deal is not there, Taylor. You can sign it. Sign it. It's the most important contract of your career. Sign it, get the money, and lose.
Steve.
Yes.
One thing we consistently say about NHL teams and specifically their GMs is that there's always one out there who's not the brightest. You don't think out of the 32 teams, someone is just going to be like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give him the 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give him. So you don't think he's going to take that if it's on the table from like 5 teams?
Oh, we're talking about strategy here. If we're talking about what's going to happen, someone's going to do it.
Exactly.
I just don't think it's bright.
Right. But I think we're talking about what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is somebody is gonna just be like, hey, here's 6 years, here's 7 years.
Yeah. No, I'm cheering for him though to get money.
Is that sarcasm?
Cheering for it. Yeah. No, it's just I'm bitter from the Marner thing. Like, no, aren't you cheering for the player? Fucking no.
Yeah,
I'm a Leafs
I am.
fan. I want him on a good deal for the Leafs.
Okay, well.
All right. And if you're a
human
Canucks
level-
fan, like anyone who's like really cheering for Quinn Hughes to get as much money. Yeah, I want a stranger to be a millionaire. Fuck yeah. Get out of here. Get out of here.
from?
You want him to sign for 8 years league minimum.
Steve, your takes today are out there.
Steve, I think
Grumpy.
on a
I'm
human
very
level,
grumpy.
you can be happy for a stranger to become a millionaire. I think on a human level, you can. I'm happy for Mitch Marner.
You can
I'm
absolutely do weird, nonsensical things. I do them all the time.
I'm happy for anyone that's a millionaire. Good for you.
Good for you. Good for you. It'd be better if you were less of a millionaire because then it'd be easier to win. But go out there and get some money. Go and get money, stranger.
I know that you're right, but I'm really hoping that you're wrong because it's the only choice.
If Mitch Marner making $2 million less a year means the Leafs have a $2 million better chance of winning, then you're not wrong, Steve. But it's a weird stance to take.
Oh, I know I'm not wrong. Why is the right stance a weird one to take?
Because you're just saying another human. You're like, hey, I'm glad you're making less money, dirtbag.
Yeah, we're talking about an organization versus a human being. An organization is just a nebulous thing that we've made up.
I'm saying if you cheer for a team, you should be cheering for the team. That's what makes sense.
But on a personal level, you can be happy that a guy.
Yeah, you
if
can
he
do
was
both.
my friend,
both are possible.
If he was my friend, I'd be like, hell yeah, I want to ride your boat.
Are you and Mitch Marner not friends?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
What if you were in the future? And then you're out on his boat one day in the summer, and then he sees this clip and goes, you weren't happy for me for this contract? You're swimming home.
I would gladly, if I were his pal, I'd ride on the HMCS. Thanks, Kyle. I would absolutely take a ride on that.
Well, all right. Listen, I just think you should need to be open to the fact that you and Mitch Marner could be friends one day.
And just, maybe Quinn Hughes will have the HMCS gym rules. Like, who knows? Who knows? I'm just saying, if you cheer for a team, you cheer for them.
How is Benning boat not the first thing you said?
Yeah.
Come on.
Damn it.
It was right there.
Or the Jolly Jim.
The Jolly Jim. I like that. Louis Eriksson's been riding that for like 6 years now.
Yeah.
Guys, it came out today also from Elliot Friedman, who's had one hell of a day, that Dougie Hamilton and his agents have been allowed to speak to other teams. And we're talking about here a potential sign and trade. And of course, if you don't already know, I'm sure you do, but like we mentioned with Taylor Hall, you sign with your home team, you can get that 8th year. You sign with somebody else that isn't your home team, you can't get the 8th year, you only get 7. If Dougie Hamilton's looking for 8 years, it kind of makes sense for the Hurricanes to go, okay, well, listen, we'll trade you to the team. We'll get something back, and you go sign the contract that you want to sign. Now, I have to check this, but from what I read, and this is for real, Tom Dundon has only once signed off on a contract worth more than $5.5 million annually, and that was on the Montreal Canadiens offer sheet to Sebastian Aho, which was 7.5.
No way. Let me look this up. Where's the Hurricanes?
It's during the Tom Dundon era. Doesn't mean Carolina Hurricanes players haven't made more.
Right.
No,
During the Tom Dundon
That's
era.
not difficult to look up.
Tom Dundon what?
Era.
How much? 5.5?
5.5.
So I don't know when
It's
Jordan
true.
Stahl signed his contract, but he's got 6. Aho's 8.4, blah, 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 blah. And Dougie Hamilton is on an expiring 5.75.
Right.
Yeah,
which he
because
didn't sign. He signed that in Calgary.
the Stahl contract was signed pre-Dundon.
Right. And the Hamilton contract was signed in Calgary. By the way, Calgary gave up Dougie Hamilton. We don't talk about that enough.
I forgot he was a Flame.
We do not. And remember, it was like, he doesn't fit in with the team. And now we're seeing the team doesn't fit in with the team. There's more to be said about the Calgary Flames. Not today, but we need to know more about that. I want to know more about that. Now,
Not great.
it's not great. Now, so let's say this is a negotiation ploy. Did the Carolina Hurricanes and Don Waddell, who already on record is a negotiating genius, and we've seen this before. Is this Don Waddell calling Dougie Hamilton's agent's bluff? Because Don Waddell, we know, is a gangster when it comes to this stuff, but he was like, all right, fine. You want to talk to other teams? Because the agent would make that call and go, hey, what do you think about us talking to other teams? We need permission. Because if you're not going to go to 8 years, we're not going to sign here. What are we doing? Most teams with their number one defenseman go, holy shit, we really need to figure out a deal here because he's really going to walk on us. Don Waddell's like, yeah, sure, call.
I think it's a great strategy because, well, if you can work out a trade, you're going to get more.
Yep.
But I think what Dougie Hamilton is going to discover here is what I keep yelling and screaming from the rooftops. The money's not there. It isn't there.
Or maybe not from the teams that you want. Carolina's right there.
Also, I think it's important to offer in order to get the most from other teams in the league, you need to make this offer because it's an expansion summer. And it's extremely important. Why am I going to acquire Dougie Hamilton for a king's ransom and then potentially lose a really good player for nothing in the process? You know what I mean? So, like, since we know the most about them, let's throw the Leafs into the equation, right? Mm-hmm. So I got to give you XYZ for Dougie Hamilton. Let's assume it's not cheap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it costs you, I don't know, Liljegren or Robertson or something like that.
Or Morgan Riley.
Well, that's an interesting one. Morgan Riley is a very interesting one because, like, let's say, I don't know, it's Kerfoot, who you were probably going to lose in expansion anyway, and you got to give up, a pick and some valuable futures. But then you get Dougie Hamilton, and he eats into your cap. And I'm also now about to lose, like, Justin Hall to Seattle for nothing, which, I mean, I know who I'd prefer. It's Dougie Hamilton by a mile.
But you also got to think about it like that's a piece you're also including in the trade because you're losing it as well.
Yeah.
That is how you have to look at it. Like, I'm trying to figure out Carolina right now. I'm looking at them,
Morgan Riley.
I'm looking at their friggin'
cap friendly.
Cap friendly, the expansion draft tool.
Oh, okay.
There's another team who's like almost for sure going to lose a really, really, really good player.
Maybe they don't want an NHL player.
Oh, yeah, but like, how are you gonna? This is. So I've seen a couple scenarios where I've wondered this. So Vegas loaded up on futures because of how tight teams are. I wonder if Seattle is able to load up on the present, and they're going to get futures no matter what. They're going to get tons of picks. They have the second overall pick in the draft as well. I wonder if they're able to do what Vegas did when they realized they were a contender, but right away. Vegas had all these picks and they're just spending it like a drunken pirate. Like just first, second, and third for Tatar. We don't care. I wonder if Seattle is out to go out or able to go out and spend because no one else can. And like
maybe that's where Hamilton thinks his money's going to come from. If you're Seattle, what a great get.
Yeah, just identify a few real premium targets because like you're still what part of the reason. Like, it seems so obvious that Seattle's going to take Kerfoot from the Leafs, but part of the reason they might not is why would we claim a guy who makes 3.5 when we don't have to? No, you got to pay. You should have to. If I'm Seattle, I'm thinking you should have to pay me to take a guy who makes 3.5 mil off your cap. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I wonder if they're able to get the present instead of the future.
I also wonder if Seattle is in a dark horse candidate, and this is completely offside from Dougie Hamilton, dark horse candidate for Jack Eichel.
There should be a candidate for everybody.
They should. Yeah. I think Jack Eichel makes a lot of sense in the sense that you've got the second overall pick. It's kind of a bum draft year, but what's Buffalo going to do? Like, you could probably deal some assets to Buffalo. I'm not saying a 1-for-1. But what I am saying is Buffalo doesn't have a choice but to draft their way out of this. I don't think.
Ron Francis should be the first person that Kevin Adams calls.